The Honourable Courtney Hughes.
Mr Deputy President, I rise to speak tonight about an issue that has received too much attention already, and many believe that we should not give any more attention to it. I refer to Senator Pauline Hanson's appalling comments in her first speech to the Australian Senate. But the reason why I think it is important to discuss it, and I congratulate the House on voting unanimously to condemn her comments this morning, is due to my experience with her first speech in the House of Representatives now 20 years ago. At risk of giving away my age, I was in my early years at Foster High. I distinctly recall walking into my geography class and our teacher, the incredible Mr Michael Jenkins, who I have spoken about in this House before, telling us that he would be putting aside our usual lessons for the day. Instead, as he did from time to time, there was a current issue that we were going to discuss. The first speech of Ms Hanson, where she claimed, amongst other things, that we would be swamped by Asians. Mr Jenkins played it for us and asked us to discuss it. As was his way, he never gave away his position on the speech itself, but he did carefully unpick the many errors within it, whether it was the populations of our Asian neighbours or her allegations of special treatment for Aboriginal people. The message was that we should listen carefully, critically analysing what we hear, even if it's uttered in our nation's parliament. It was an incredibly important lesson for all of us, and one that has stayed with me.
Good teacher.
It is for that very reason tonight that in the wake of Ms Hanson's appalling comments about the Muslim community, that this, in our nation's oldest parliamentary chamber, I wish to reflect on the value of multiculturalism to our country and assure those people that she has sought to demonise and sideline of their place and value within our community. I need to look no further than my own parliamentary colleagues, my friends the Honourable Shoket Musulman and the member for Lakemba Jihad Dib in the other place. Both groundbreaking leaders for their community. I can only imagine how these dreadful comments affected them and their families. Perhaps one of the most offensive comments from the speech last week, though there are too many to choose from, is where Ms Hanson said that ethnic diversity has seen our country's decline. I could not disagree more vehemently with this statement. I firmly believe that the strength of modern Australia is a direct result of our multiculturalism. And this is more than simply being able to eat fantastic food from around the globe. The contribution that migration and multiculturalism has made to Australia, which has accelerated since the lifting of the racist White Australia policy, has been to improve our economy by attracting the hardest working and offers smartest workers who have literally built our country with their labour, ingenuity and innovation. Escaping persecution and poverty, successive waves of migrants have worked with long hours and back-breaking labour. Many of the migrants who came in post-war years, particularly from southern Europe, became enterprising small business owners across both metropolitan and country New South Wales, or worked on the Great Snowy Hydro scheme, or perhaps in any work that they could find to provide for themselves and their families. This work ethic and sacrifice has remained as the countries of migration have varied to the countries nearer our shore across Asia and the subcontinent, and now to the Middle East. How many people have a story of their cleaner actually being a trained nurse, or their taxi driver an engineer? But prioritising providing for their family, they are prepared to work in any way they can. Indeed, a report released by the Sydney Business Chamber last year found that refugees have significant entrepreneurial potential and, with the right support, can contribute to the economy, create income for themselves and employ others. But the latest push to repeal 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act, or the failure of the New South Wales Liberal National Government to legislate to include religion in the New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Act, shows that the challenge to ensure an environment free of racism continues to today. And if Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull fails to stop the 18C changes, his only legacy in this space will be the election of Ms Hanson to the Senate. In her first speech 20 years ago, Ms Hanson claimed our resources and our position in the world were under threat. Malcolm Turnbull called the double disillusion election that caused her to be elected. In her first speech 20 years ago, Ms Hanson claimed our resources and our position in the world were under threat from our Asian neighbours and that we only had 10 to 15 years to fix it. how incredibly wrong she was. It is these very resources and our position in the world that were the basis of the economic boom that has occurred since this speech. I only hope in the same way that history has proven her wrong, the next 20 years will prove her most recent comments to be